In this video, I'm continuing my series of playing 3 of the strongest players I know to a $500 money match. The USA National Champion, a 3-time regional champion, and an online hidden Catan boss. The score is currently 0-1-1-1. We're gonna watch this game from Groundhog's perspective, playing as green. I think he goes through a lot of interesting decisions from his part, and we're also going to get some of his thoughts on different situations. Make sure to watch to the end of the video, since we will be going over 3 essential Catan tips throughout this game. But I'm getting attacked by the robber. That's what happens if you play online Catan or explore the internet without a VPN. NordVPN is essentially a security system against online cyber threats that will attack you like the robber. I use NordVPN myself to protect against these online threats. You can use up to 6 NordVPN connections at the same time, so you can protect yourself on all different devices. So use code DyLighted to get 68% off and 4 months free at only $371 per month. That's 1 coffee a month to get 2 years of internet protection. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it. Checking out NordVPN does help me out, since they'll be more likely to sponsor another video. So check out NordVPN in the description below and use code DyLighted to get this exclusive offer. So, in the first position, we have Gray. He places on the 5-8-10. This is a crushing first spot with a dream or wheat sheep setup. It's one of the highest producing spots on the board, and it allows you access to 2 different ports. I think this is an easy choice as a first position. Now, it's Red's turn, which is me, but we're watching this game from Groundhog's perspective, playing as green. So, I think the 6-4-11 is the best decision here, since you get more wheat and there's a lot of ore on this board. The 6-4-3 is still strong, but I think the 6-4-11 is slightly better, because you get more wheat and this is such a high ore board. Although the brick is rare, I think you'd rather have a little bit more wheat where you can trade it away at a good price on this board where everyone's going to be on high ore. What made me choose the 6-4-3 spot is being able to block the 6-3-11 spot and get some access on the brick on this high wood board. I also think I slightly got table talked into going on the 6-4-3. I have an immense respect for Ian, which is the USA National Champion. So when he said,
"Does Dylan want the only brick in the game?" Probably not. Will he think about it for 20 minutes and then go on 3-4-6? Probably.
I thought to myself, well, if Ian says that, then I guess the 6-4-3 is better than the 6-4-11. But I needed to trust my gut and go on the 6-4-11. Now it's Green's turn, like the Groundhog. He decides to go on the 5-9-10. He took the 5-9-10 thinking Hawkeye might go on the 8-3-10 and the 3-4-5, using the guaranteed wooden brick on the 3-4-5 and to build onto the strong ore. That would leave Green to go on the 9-3-11 and use their free road to get on the strong ore themselves. However, on Hawkeye's turn, he decides to do something a little bit different and go on the 4-5-11 and the 6-4-3. This gets Hawkeye a free starting road along with strong ore and wheat. He has some strong expansion spots onto the 6-11 and the 6-2 ore port. Now, it's back to Green's turn. Here's what Groundhog says. Once Hawkeye took a free road to the 6-11, I didn't want to risk losing such an important race and have 0 ore. I don't want to race Hawkeye. He scares me. I also didn't want to leave Ian the underrated 6-11-12 as a second settlement. So I took that with a head start towards the city. In essence, here's what Groundhog saw. If he took the 3-9-11, then Red would take the 3-8-10. Then Gray would be able to get the 6-11-12 with 2 strong ore spots and 2 strong wheat spots. Therefore, Groundhog places on the 6-11-12 to prevent Gray from getting a strong setup. So here's a first essential tip of the game. You want to place defensively to deny opponents from a super strong setup. Now, it's Red's turn, and I think Red now regrets the decision of the 6-3-4. He'd much rather have the extra wheat over the brick. He decides to go on the 8-3-10 and points a risky road to the right onto the brick port. He has to take a risk here and is gambling that the first position Gray won't be taking the 8-4 because Gray has a decision to place on the 9-3-11 or the 8-4. If he does decide to place on the 8-4, he will be cutting off Red and making them in a bad position. However, by placing the 8-4, the 8 sheep will be getting blocked, the 4 wheat will be getting blocked, and the 5 wheat will be getting blocked. And because Gray has such a strong starting setup, he'll probably be getting robbed quite a bit. Gray makes a tough decision and goes on the 9-3-11.
If you point left, I will not race you.
Deal.
Unless I pull like a ton of row buildings or something.
Good luck, everybody.
With the placement finished, the game begins. Before we move on, I haven't posted in a few weeks, and you've probably wondered where I've been. My brother is a high-stakes pro poker player, and I look up to him a lot. Now, society likes to look down on poker, but it's actually a beautiful, mathematical, complex strategy game that literally pays you to play it and learn it well. I've been studying poker myself for the last few months, and this last month, I absolutely fell in love with the game. I would spend a ridiculous amount of time, like 8 hours a day, studying the game. I came to the conclusion I could either try to copy my brother's successful path, or create my own path and be the early adopter of the Catan boom, right here. Now I think the choice is obvious, Catan, but I couldn't always see that. I'm me, and I'm not my brother. Anyways, I owe you guys the truth, as I put up a goal of trying to do 1 video a week and I didn't follow through. I'm sorry. I'm back, and I'm going to try my best to hit that goal. So here are the 3 things I'm going to do. First, I'm going to refund everyone on Patreon for this month, that I didn't really work that hard on Catan content. Second, I'm going to delete poker from my computer. And third, I'm going to be hiring an editor. It's going to be expensive. But I often found myself asking, do I want to sit down at my computer for 8 hours a day for multiple days on end, slaving away editing a video? Or would I rather be profitable playing poker? I often found myself choosing poker a lot. I think hiring an editor would be best for my time and health, since I've really grown to dislike editing. Not Catan, just editing. So if you're interested in applying, go ahead and check out the Google form in the description below. I'm looking for a long-time contract. Anyways, back to the video. And the first roll that comes is a 6, giving everyone ore except for Gray. He drops his road to the 249, as he knows that spot will be secure since he made a deal with Hawkeye. However, I think dropping the road towards one of the 3-1 ports, like the 8 ore or the 10 sheep, might have been a little bit better. Because if you settle on the 249, and you tend to have a lot of extra wood in your hand that you can't get rid of, as Gray. This makes your resource-income ratio very unbalanced and tends to make your hand very clogged, therefore making you more likely to 7 out. Groundhog drops a road towards a sheep port. The sheep port could be very useful, especially if he gets onto the 9-12, as now he'll have 2 tiles of sheep, the 10 and the 9. And this could become even more useful if he's able to build 2 more roads onto the 9-10. That'd be pretty much the dream. On Hawkeye's turn, he knows the 6-11 will be safe because he made a deal with Gray. So he decides to drop his road to the 6-2. This will give him more ore and add some flexibility to his game. An 11 rolls, giving everyone wheat. Red and blue strike up a trade. Red doesn't produce any wood, and blue doesn't produce any sheep. So it makes sense for them to trade. Red is afraid that green could always cut back to the 4-11, and decides to protect the 4-11 spot by dropping a road. Though this does skip out on the 8-4, more critical wheat will be essential for red's game. Now, green rolls the first 7 of the game. With 2 wheat and 2 ore in hand, green needs to really try hard to get a 3rd ore. This will get green a critical city, which will bolster his game significantly.
I know what I need more than I...
Is he looking for ores?
I think everybody has one of them.
DyLighted has... Did he trade one?
No, I only got 1
No,
ore.
I
I
don't.
got 1 ore.
Hawkeye's 2, maybe. 2 out of 6.
Actually, that's
Ian.
straight.
Yeah,
Hawkeye
Hawkeye's
does
2.
have 2.
So I have a 1 and 3 or a 1 and 4 if I go for Ian. But Hawkeye has 2, 1 and 3. Plus he's got I could get that sheep and trade it back to him. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I mean, I don't feel like blocking the wheat because they already have wheat, but that's the best spot, right? The
Yeah.
5 wheat.
I mean,
All
it
right,
prevents them from cities, if anything.
All right, Hawkeye, I have to play the odds.
Pull the wood.
All right. Well, I did get it.
Oh,
The
Oh,
sheep,
man.
not the ore. The sheep.
okay. You scared me.
I will trade it back.
No. No.
No city for you.
You don't want it?
No.
Oh, buy a dev card.
Even if they did want it, I don't think we could hand you a city. I made that mistake once. I'm not doing it again.
It's Gray's turn and he rolls a 7. He moves it onto the 6 ore and takes from green in order to prevent green from getting an early city. And he's successful as Gray takes an ore from green. And 8 rolls, giving ore and sheep. Now, it's green's turn again and he rolls another 7. Let's listen in and hear what's going on.
Yeah, there
Here we
goes my
go.
city.
Break it up.
Alright,
You don't want to take from me. You only have a 50-50 shot at ore.
But that's better than anyone. And it can
Well,
break a city. Dual effect.
Will you trade me an ore, somebody, if I take from Ian?
No, you have to take from Ian.
I mean, you're gonna get it anyway.
Well,
Then you're allowing Groundhog to get a city
Yeah, the
by
thing is-
stealing and giving him one.
No, he doesn't have 3 ore now, right?
No, but if he steals one and you trade him one, he gets a city.
That's good point.
On green's turn, he rolls a 7. Because he stole a wheat, giving him 3 wheat, he decided he could afford a development card. Generally, you don't want to be buying early development cards if you don't have a city up and if your ore, wheat, or sheep is very scarce for you. In this instance, green's wheat is pretty scarce. However, since he has 3 in hand, he decides to buy a development card. Green says, I would need knights if people got their cities soon, since he could take the initiative on the largest army. So, he buys a development card and gets a knight. Then, he passes. A 9 is rolled, getting people wood. Then, a 5 is rolled, giving Groundhog brick, and blocking the critical 5 wheat. On Gray's turn, he drops a city on the 5, 8, 10. This is an amazing city spot, which has super strong city quality, and Green is thankful to block more wheat. Then the 9 rolls, getting people more wood. Now it's back to Green's turn. Green is looking for a sheep in order to build a road and a settlement onto the 9-12. Green offers a wheat for a sheep, and Red knows they're the only person who can trade sheep. Red says no for the 1-for-1 trade. Then Groundhog decides to threaten Red by saying,
I'm going to use a knight to try to get it unless you will trade.
So with the added pressure of the robber, Red decides to take that deal and get a 2-for-1 and lets Groundhog build a road and a settlement onto the 9-12. The 9-12 is actually a really strong spot for Groundhog, as his 10 sheep and 9 sheep won't be getting blocked very often. This means he'll have a lot of extra sheep to port for whatever he wants. Even though Groundhog has low wheat at the moment, his sheep will compensate for that very easily. Then, on Red's turn, he's trying to trade away sheep looking for a wood. He goes ahead and trades with Blue. Blue needs sheep since his sheep was stolen earlier, and Red needs wood since he doesn't produce it. With that, Red drops the settlement onto the 4-11, providing them more supplemental wheat for their game. Now, it's Green's turn. They roll a 6, and they get an ore. Green goes ahead and drops a road with the intention to get in the 9-10. On Hawkeye's turn, he rolls a 4, and drops a strong city onto the 6-4-3. On Red's turn, they roll a 6, giving everyone ore except for Gray. Red spits out a bunch of trades offering for wheat, and they decide to give a wheat for an ore and a wood. With that, they drop a city onto the 6-4-3, then end their turn. Now, it's Groundhog's turn, and he rolls another 6. Whenever the 6 rolls, it is a terrible roll for Gray, as everyone gets ore except for him. Groundhog offers ore for wheat, and Red decides to take this trade. With that, Groundhog buys a development card, and ends his turn. On Hawkeye's turn, he rolls a 9. Hawkeye does a 4-for-1 for wood for a brick. With that, he drops a settlement onto the powerful 6-2 ore port. On Red's turn, they roll a 7, and they lose half their cards. Red discards their wheat, wood, and ore, and they move the robber onto the 6 ore, blocking Hawkeye. That 6 ore for Blue provides them 3 ore, and they're on the ore port. Whenever you're tripled up on an ore, it's extra strong, because with a single roll, you can get 3 ores, and if you can get 2 wheats, it helps you get a very quick city. With that steal, Red drops the city onto the 8-3-10. Now, Red is looking very scary. Groundhog moves the robber to the 5 wheat, then takes from Blue. Then, he plays an aggressive knight onto the 4 wheat and takes from Red, stealing the rare wood. On Groundhog's turn, he rolls a 10, giving him a sheep. He has a decision to make. Does he buy a development card to try to get ahead in the largest army race, or does he go ahead and port a sheep in order to hold and save up for the city? So, go ahead and comment below what you would do in this spot and why. Groundhog says, here's a great spot in the game. I've lost the battle of building the best production, but the war is the 10 points, not the best production numbers. There's a path to victory, and I decide to commit to one. I can win with the largest army. With that, he buys a development card and gets another knight. He goes ahead and drops a road onto the powerful 9-10 spot, and he takes the longest road. On Groundhog's turn, he rolls a 6. Then, he ports 2 of his sheep for a wheat and buys another development card. That's another knight. Now, he has 2 knights in storage and 1 knight played. These are enough knights for him to take the largest army. But since Groundhog gets a second knight, he thinks about playing an aggressive knight.
Gotta be a knight with only 2 cards, I think. Unless he wants to year plenty for settlement. I don't know.
And here's essential tip number 2. Consider timing tells. Everything you do gives away information. Because Groundhog sat there thinking when he is only at 2 cards, it gives the table critical information to piece together what Groundhog's dev cards are. If you're thinking with little cards in hand, but with multiple dev cards, you're probably thinking about your multiple options when it comes to dev cards. Against strong observant opponents, you can even create reverse tells to throw your opponents off if they are closely tracking your dev cards. Then, on Hawkeye's turn, he rolls a 6. Hawkeye plays a road bidding, letting him place 2 roads down for free, and he goes ahead and drops 2 roads, threatening to cut off the 9-10. Then, he ports another 2 ore for a brick and drops a road and a settlement onto the 9-10 3-1 port. Ouch. This is very devastating for Groundhog. Groundhog says, it's a huge setback with Hawkeye having the road bidding and cutting me off. My longest road chances drop significantly, and I've lost multiple expansion spots that were along an efficient longest road path. Now looking at Groundhog's position, he's gotten cut off, he's behind in production, and everyone else has cities. It's going to be a very tough path for him to win this game. So on Gray's turn, he plays a knight card and moves the robber off the 5 wheat. Then, he rolls a 7, making Red discard half their cards. Then, Gray tells Red this.
I'll give you a wood for an ore, and I'll put it not on you. Otherwise, it's going on 6 ore.
We got a deal. Red decides to take this trade. Not only does red get a wood, which is a rare card, there also won't be blocked on the critical 6 ore spot. So, the trade goes through, and with that, gray's able to buy a development card and ends their turn. Then, it's red's turn, and he rolls a 6, thankful that he took the trade with gray, and that 6 ore is unblocked. Then, he passes. Now, it's Groundhog's turn. With his 9 sheep being blocked, he plays a knight card. He puts the knight onto the 6 ore the Hawkeye's tripled up on, and he takes from Hawkeye. In this position, Hawkeye now has strong ore, wheat, and sheep, and he's about to take the longest road. He's pretty much uncontested for the longest road, and he has a pretty easy path to victory. Connect longest road for 7 points. Build a city on the 4-5-11, which brings him to 8 points. Then, drop a road and a settlement onto the 6-11, which brings him to 9 points. And with so much ore and wheat, he can easily drop another city for 10 points. Then, Groundhog rolls a 7, and he decides to put it onto the 4 wood, then take from Hawkeye again. He gets another ore. On Gray's turn, he rolls another 7. He puts it back onto this powerful 6 ore, and takes from Hawkeye. With that, he does a 4-for-1, and 4-for-1s his sheep for a brick. Then, he ends his turn. A 4 is rolled. With that, red buys 2 development cards, and ends their turn. Groundhog rolls an 11, giving him that precious wheat that he needs. Since Groundhog is very behind in production, he's going to have to win by getting some very cheap points for longest road and largest army. On this turn, you can actually potentially win as Groundhog. I want you to think about the trades that can occur. Can you spot the 200 IQ potential win? Now go ahead and pause the video and do your best to figure it out. This is a tough one. So the solution is first, you have to tell red that you're going to rob them for a wheat, because they have a 66% chance for a wheat. But you'd be willing to not rob them if they gave you wheat and you gave them a wood. Red is inclined to say yes to this trade because they don't produce wood. So, you trade. Then, you play a knight card. This will take largest army and bring you to 8 points. Then, you put the robber on one of blue's hexes and steal from blue. It's a 1 in 5 chance you get a wheat. If you get the wheat, now your hand turns into 4-3-1 or wheat sheep. With that, you can drop a city for 9 points, and then buy a development card and hope it's a victory point for 10 points. The odds are slim, but Groundhog needs to try it because his opportunity of winning is slipping away. Groundhog is an interesting turn. He says, I can feel the opportunity to win slip away, so he's thinking about the 4-point play, trying to get largest army and longest road. He has to turn his hand into the 4-3-1, which stands for 4 ore, 3 wheat, and 1 sheep, which lets you get a city and a development card. But right now, Groundhog has 4-1-1. He has 4 ore, 1 wheat, 1 sheep. He needs to get 2 additional wheat somehow. So, here's what he tries to do.
I'll give you a wood for a wheat. I have to play a knight.
Hey, Groundhog, why are you trying to help Dylan here?
I'm saying I have to use the knight to take a wheat, and he has 2 out of 3. So I could get good odds, but I can offer wood for wheat, or I can try to play.
And what are you doing with this? What are you doing with this again? Let's see.
It's got to give him the city by now, right?
Yeah.
It's a city. 2 out of 3.
Red decides to take this trade. Here's essential tip number 3. You want to use extortion to get guaranteed trades. There's no way Red would hand Groundhog a city. But because he threatened to rob Red instead of plucking for the wheat, which is only a 66% chance, he now increases the chance he gets a city from 66% to 100%. Then, Groundhog plays a knight card, trying to steal the wheat from Hawkeye. If he can steal a wheat from blue, he might just be able to win this turn. Because if he buys a victory point, that's 9 points. Then, he has a city in hand for 10 points. So, he hopes and he prays, and he misses the wheat, and gets an ore from Hawkeye instead. Unfortunately, he didn't get the wheat to close the game, but he was still able to see the 200 IQ win, which is incredibly difficult to spot. Now, it's a big decision on which settlement to city up here. He tries imagining a game playing out where he could win. If he upgrades the 6, 11, 12, the ore and wheat, he doesn't think he can win because Red is getting those same resources and is going to take his largest army. So, he decides to upgrade on the 5, 9, 10, where you can officially get points by dropping road and settlements. He says, you have to take into account who's on the numbers with you, and if you upgrade, can they win before you? On Hawkeye's turn, he rolls a 6, giving him 3 ore.
Alright. Who wants me to take road here?
I do.
I need an ore. Or, unless someone somehow has a brick, but,
Before you just give it to him, I do not have anything close to a point.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give it to him, look at his long-term prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's see. What is Groundhog? Groundhog has an ore.
Yet.
So Groundhog has.
They all have dev cards. They all have dev cards. It's not.
So Groundhog was trying to pull a wheat,
Yeah, and then he could just
Which
play.
meant that he would have had a 3-card dev card. So that means
Yeah,
he had an ore and a sheep already. He pulled an ore from me.
Yeah.
So he has 2 ore. So now he has 3 ore and a sheep. So he's close.
Yeah. Well, close to what?
To getting another city. You have 3 ore in your hand.
Yeah, but they all have dev cards. Like, you can see what rolls. It doesn't. Once they give you road, are you just going to win anyway? Like,
Once I have road, I have 7 points. You have 9 right now.
yeah, but
So Hawkeye, what is it that how can you not just port ore to get 2 roads?
Yeah.
Because I only have 3 ore.
3 ore and what?
2 woods?
And 3 wood and a wheat.
I think they can wait 1 ore, but they don't need to do it.
I mean, it actually gives you a chance to win.
No, but
Yeah,
of
it does.
course. But it gives. I'm telling you, I don't think I'm going to have it anyway. Let's just see. Let's see if I have it anyway. I don't think I will.
I mean, I don't want to find out. That's the thing. I don't want to find out.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, if I'm plucking for a dev card, that's first of all, and that's probably not going to happen.
You might not remember this, but I did 4-1 for a brick.
Okay.
But I don't want to just give it away either because it is strong for you. So brick for wheat ore, that's my offer.
He really doesn't need road right now.
Useful for me.
Wheat ore for brick. I think it's okay trading with Ian at this point.
He's got 4 city long road like prospect to, and I have.
No, I love his long-term prospects, but I do agree that you are at 9 points, and I just can't ignore that.
I'm not there. I don't think that's right. That's
Okay.
a bad trade. No, I think.
And it's a good trade for me too. I mean, I could use ore wheat.
Well, I did the right play to give myself a shot.
You did.
Got a shot, dude. I hear you.
With that trade going down, Hawkeye drops 2 roads and takes the longest road from Groundhog. Groundhog's path to victory looks much, much harder. His chances are looking slim. On Gray's turn, he buys 2 more development cards, then ends his turn. Then, on Red's turn, he rolls an 11. Red also buys 2 more development cards. Now, it's Groundhog's turn, and he rolls a 5, giving him the bricks. He says, I'm in big trouble. Hawkeye just took his road, and Red and Gray are coming for his largest army. The window for him winning is closing. He makes a 2-1 trade with Gray to get a city, instead of buying a development card. He'd rather someone just take the largest army and waste critical resources investing in points that he already has. Now, Green's at 8 points, and he only needs to drop 2 settlements to win this game. But the issue is that Red and Gray are hot on his heels to take the largest army. They will be playing night cards. He only has a few orbits to try to win this game. Then, it's Gray's turn, and he rolls an 11, giving 2 essential wheat to Groundhog. This will be very useful, as he needs those wheat to win this game as soon as possible. On Gray's turn, he drops a settlement onto the 2-4-9. Then, it's Red's turn, and he plays a night card, moving the robber onto the 5 brick, and stealing a critical wheat from Green. Red is going to start playing their night cards to take the largest army from Green. It's Green's turn, and he rolls a 7. This was the last roll Groundhog needed. He decides to discard 3 wood and a wheat. Then, he moves the robber onto the 6 ore and takes from Hawkeye, and he gets his precious wheat back. Now, he has a decision to make. Where does he drop his road? Groundhog says he decides to build a safe road where Red couldn't threaten his settlement spot. Since Red has 3 down development cards, it's more likely he has a road bidding. So, by dropping his road onto the 5 brick, it plays around the potential of getting cut off. That's a clever decision. Then, it's Blue's turn, and he rolls a 7. He decides to move the robber onto the 6 ore, then takes from Red. Then, Gray rolls a 4, giving people wood and wheat. On Red's turn, he plays another night card, and moves the robber onto the 5 brick. Red then offers a trade, offering to give back that wheat for a sheep. Groundhog decides to take this trade, as his wheat is rare and he doesn't have any in hand. It also opens a possibility of a 9 or a 10 rolling to give him a settlement to 9 points. With that, Red does a 4-for-1 that buys another development card. Right now, Red has 2 knights played with 3 down development cards, and Groundhog has 3 knights played. Groundhog is going to lose largest army quickly. So on Groundhog's turn, he rolls a 9, giving him 4 cards. Nice. This is a good roll for Groundhog. Groundhog says it's a big decision here. He can get a settlement or a development card. The settlement will get him the 3-1 port, but the brick was blocked, and he only had 2 orbits to hold largest army guaranteed. Gray seemed to have non-knight cards as they didn't play an aggressive knight. Therefore, it removes the chances of victory points, which makes it less likely for Groundhog to draw one. So, he makes a decision to 4-for-1 his wood and drop a settlement onto the 5 brick. and end his turn. This puts Groundhog at 9 points, but Red was quickly coming to take his largest army away. On Blue's turn, he rolls a 9. Hawkeye's at 11 cards, and he does 2 3-for-1s for 2 bricks and drops a road and a settlement onto the 6-11. Then, it's Gray's turn, and he rolls a 12, giving Groundhog another 3 wood. Gray plays a knight and moves the robber onto the 6 ore, then takes from Green. With that, he does a 4-for-1 for sheep and buys a development card. Then, he does another 4-for-1 for sheep and ends his turn. On Red's turn, he plays a knight card and moves the robber onto the 5 brick, getting a sheep. Then, he rolls a 7 and moves the robber onto the 9 wood and takes from Groundhog again. With that, Red ends his turn. Groundhog rolls a 10 on his turn, giving him sheep. Groundhog thinks he has to win this turn, because Red will take the largest army, and then Groundhog can't win. He tries trading really hard for victory point. If Gray is sitting there with a couple of victory points, he might just trade him at 9 points and gamble that he can't get it anyways. Sometimes, if you know someone is drawing dead to 0 victory points, you can capitalize off a trade like that.
Alright, I'm going to put a road down. I can give wood for a sheep. Like, I'm not going to keep army, it doesn't matter. I can do wood for sheep because I have 3-for-1s ports, and that's it.
You're wanting a sheep and you're giving it wood.
Yeah.
Don't trade that with Dylan, because that's the one thing he doesn't have, or, well, that and brick, really, to get on the 8-4.
Well, I'll take it from whoever. Yeah.
Dylan, I'm telling you this.
Get road
If you
settle?
say yes, then I'm going to say yes and make the trade, so I think we both should say no.
No, but I'm going to 7 points on my turn. It doesn't matter.
Alright, yeah, let's just say no. Let's just say no, Ian. Let's just say no.
Dylan, again, how are you convinced, like, I don't understand this.
I mean, this trade
What do you-
is not that useful for me anyways. It's fine.
I mean, it does literally nothing for me either. That's why I'd rather it not happen with either of us. I mean, even if you are just stuck at 7, Groundhog, which, you know, is a valid point, me just handing you a road in a trade that does literal nothing for me, because I'm kind of in your territory, doesn't do anything for me.
What can I get for a wood?
An ore? I'll give you a wood for an ore. If you're building a road with it, I'll do that.
I guess I could keep it just for the next ore.
No, I thought you were going the other way. What?
You said wood for ore.
Yeah, I thought it was going the other way. I thought you wanted. You said you wanted wood, right?
No, I'm giving wood. I'm looking for wood for sheep is what I need. To just a 2-for-1 the sheep.
I'm sorry, I'm too confused.
He's trading wood. He's trading wood.
Yeah, because last time you were asking for wood, I thought.
Can anyone take this?
No.
Okay, either way, it doesn't do anything for me, so.
And because we don't want to let you pull anyways, because I think it lets you pull. So.
I apologize that I got confused on the trade.
I mean, Groundhog, you're saying I get easily tabletop. We're just letting you pull for the win.
But...
So I'll pass,
Wait,
man.
So you wanted a sheep, right? Hey, Groundhog, I'll give you a sheep for an ore if it lets you build a road. If that's what I was trying to understand, because I thought that's what you were gonna do. Never mind, time's up.
All right, Hawkeye.
6 maybe. I mean, all right. Or that too. Yeah.
Another 12. Are you kidding me?
You are gonna take army, right? Dylan?
No, I'm not. I have to play your plenty.
Oh my god.
This is bad. Yo, you have to Monopoly. No, I'm not lying. You have to play Monopoly. You have to play Monopoly. I'm playing a year plenty on my turn. Ian, you have to play Monopoly. He has the win. I promise you.
I don't have a
Are you?
Oh my god.
Yeah, we lose.
I'm not sure anything I can do with this that'll help, but I'm gonna do this, and just for funsies, I'll do this.
I think that's Groundhog's game. That's Groundhog's game.
I mean, if you roll 7.
Yeah, if I roll a 7, then we might save it.
I pass turn to you.
But before we roll, check to see if you're subscribed. It's free, it helps me out, and you can always unsubscribe if you don't like the content. Alright, 7! That's game.
This is the most I ever lied in a game. Just gonna say. No, I didn't lie, but I was trying to pull the last turn, obviously.
Yeah, no shit.
I didn't say, but...
Yeah, Dylan, you get tabletop too easily. What do you mean? You're gonna pull for the win.
No, but I didn't, obviously... No, but I didn't say I said I needed a wood for sheep, but I mean, you plucked my one sheep.
Dylan, you had one job. Pull knights.
Well, didn't get him. Alright, Groundhog, here's to you.
You know?
Oh, God. Okay.
Wow.
Sorry.
Nice job, dude.
Nice
was
job.
agonizing. Oh, my God. That was...
Holy
crap, that was crazy.
I hope you enjoyed that game. Thank you so much for watching and waiting. I'm DyLighted, and I hope you learned something.